the leaders in Europe, the European NATO leaders in Canada, are planning for all possible scenarios. It's hard to understand the Trump administration's rationale and logic behind their claims to Greenland. Everything that they have said that they need in order to secure American security, including basing rights, they essentially already have. Greenland is essentially covered under NATO. They have basing rights since the end of the Second World War. It just seems to be more part of the logic of this kind of neo-Monroe doctrine that was outlined in the National Security Strategy released last month, and that the administration seems to be operationalizing most recently in Venezuela. Well, obviously, there's precedent for the purchase of a territory. The United States has several times in its history expanded by purchase, largely the Louisiana Purchase. A large swath of core American territory was purchased from France in the early 19th century, and then Alaska from Russia during the 1860s. So there is precedent there, and the Trump administration does like to draw on precedents to justify its current actions. But those were willing purchases. That was not done, and it was done in a different time, an era where those kind of land acquisitions were much more common. We're in a time, ostensibly, of a rules-based international order where territorial integrity and sovereignty are inviolable. And that's just not something that occurs as often today. But there is precedent there. Especially in the wake of recent events, I think that the leaders in Europe, the European NATO leaders in Canada, are planning for all possible scenarios. The one that they're going to be most visible on is the diplomatic angle, because they want to show Greenlanders, Americans, and Europeans that they are pursuing de-escalatory engagement. But they have to think about, how do you increase troop presence? How do you make sure that the will of the Greenlandic people and the rule of law is preserved in this scenario? And that could include anything, including, some kind of defense options that engage non-American NATO members.